Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the BWO Back Talk podcast. I am Angel Santiago, and I'm joined by my co-host Lucas Gravesu. Lucas, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm still recovering from last night.
Last night we saw AEW Dynamite, and here on the BWO Back Talk show, we'll be reviewing this show and all of its segments that we have. So I say that we get right into it first. This was AEW Dynamite on December 2nd of 2020. And we had a few things planned for this event that Tony Khan had announced. I listened to the 53-minute Tony Khan press interview prior to this show that I think Inside
Of
the
course
Ring
you did.
was, yeah, oh yeah, I have the time and the energy to do that. I was probably the only viewer besides the actual press who listened to it. Um, he didn't say much in said interview about anything major. The only thing that I actually sent to you, Lucas, because I thought this was interesting, is that Jon Moxley will not be defending the IWGP Heavyweight United States Heavyweight Championship at Wrestle Kingdom 15 in Tokyo, Japan, in the Tokyo Dome.
I was
Um,
actually talking. Sorry to interrupt you. I was actually talking with someone else a couple nights ago, like after you sent it to me, and they actually brought up a pretty good point that I agree with. I think they're just gonna do it in America instead of at Wrestle Kingdom.
yeah,
And
I'm completely fine with that. I just think that, Moxley hasn't defended the belt in since New Beginning in January against Minoru Suzuki. He was supposed to defend it against Sabre Jr., but didn't end up doing that, and he hasn't shown up to any of the New Japan stuff since. Kenta
yeah,
won the United States New Japan Cup, which gave him a briefcase similar to, well, the current Jay White's briefcase, which is giving Kenta the IWGP shot. Apparently, it's at Wrestle Kingdom, but
right. But my thinking is that he's in America
well,
right
yeah.
now.
I don't know. I don't know what. I won't spoil for the rest of the show. We'll get to that in the main event segment. What my thinking had been was that Kenta was actually the one who had attacked Moxley prior to this match that we had seen tonight in the main event because Bullet Club.
Right, that would make sense.
Obviously, that took a complete 180 at the end of the night, which we'll talk about. But let's get into the actual AEW show before we continue. So, we start out.
I say we start at the top and work our way to the main event.
Yeah, I have a list of notes here in the order of when the matches went. So we have so I have a little bit of a script that we can follow. So first, we have the Diamond Ring Battle Royal. A few things that I gained from this. I don't understand why Matt Hardy's a heel now. Um, it seemed like he was getting like it was purposefully him getting booed the whole time. Like
Yeah,
he did the
I
one
don't.
spot.
I really just lost track of what character Matt Hardy's doing in AEW.
It's bad.
It's yeah. He came to AEW and he started off with
Woken.
the Woken character, but then he added like 7 characters in the next 2 weeks,
Right. Well,
and
then
then
he
you
was
just
like
lost track of what he was doing.
a coach for a private party, and then he came
Right.
out after he got the head injury, was like, I'm gonna be the real Matt Hardy and I'm gonna be going for singles titles and blah 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 blah. But then in this match, he did the him and Mark Quinn, which, by the way, I have no idea who told Mark Quinn that he should get his hair dyed bright red, but whoever it was should no longer be his friend because that was a terrible look for him. It was very distracting. But he does the tag team with Mark Quinn, so I'm like, okay, so what is happening right now? Is Matt Hardy a babyface or is he a heel? Hangman Page. Before I actually continue with the Battle Royal, I would like to inform everyone there was 1,000 people at this AEW event. That is the most attended wrestling event since the Corona era, not including anything outside of the United States of America, because Mexico and Japan have both held events. Um, but going back to the Battle Royal, Hangman Page is still over. Matt Hardy got the one of the biggest boos of the night when he eliminated Hangman. Um,
Yeah,
so
I was confused. There are a lot of really questionable. Well, I don't want to say questionable, but there are a lot of really weird exits in this match.
agreed. Yeah, I was not a fan. Again, I like Battle Royals, and I think as this match went on, it definitely got better.
It was definitely
Definitely
it was a really good match for a battle royal, but I
right.
mean, like, there's just a lot of weird things that happened that didn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, like I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, is Matt Hardy a bad guy now? And then I heard JR over commentary be like, oh, this is the new Matt Hardy, and this is something he's shown us. I'm like, okay, but then why is he working with babyface Mark Quinn? I would have preferred if the goal was to get Matt Hardy booed, why would you have not had him eliminate Mark Quinn?
Exactly.
I'm fine with a Matt Hardy Mark Quinn match with Mark Quinn going over. But I don't know. Miro finally looked like a star.
Finally. Yeah, he looks good in AW. He actually looks jacked instead of like he did in WWE.
I'm just so happy because with this the last couple weeks, one of the biggest complaints I've heard about AEW is that Miro is just inexistent. And actually, Tony Khan mentioned this in the press conference I did. He goes, I did not buy the Bulgarian Brew. I did not buy the guy who came out 5 years ago on a tank at WrestleMania and had a great match with John Cena. He's like, I'm buying the guy whose wife, quote unquote, cheated on him with Bobby Lashley in WWE. I bought that guy, so I need to rebuild him. And I agree. I thought Miro was not being pushed the right way in AEW for a little while. He looked like a star in this match. They purposely made him look like a wrecking ball. And I think this is all leading to him turning on Kip Sabian and being a mega heel, which is a good thing. So
absolutely, Rusev is like the big heel is about like the perfect role for him.
Yes. Again, the Rusev Day thing was a very weird thing that had gone over, but at heart, he's always should be this monster heel. He doesn't have to be this Russian Bulgarian guy, but I still like the idea of him being a heel.
Right. That's why his match with Cena worked so well in WWE.
Agreed. Jungle Boy and Sammy Guevara. Wow. I mean, on the apron doing flips and doing I have never seen really cool. That. I have never seen. I mean, I'm sitting, and again, I'm watching the Battle Royal, and I'm on and off looking at my phone, and I see this spot, and I see him doing all the flips and stuff, and the Jungle Boy just goes completely over the top rope after MJF pushes him. I will say this about the match. I am not a fan of Orange Cassidy.
He's died off a little bit.
My issue with Orange Cassidy, I was actually talking about this with Hunter today. Him and I were talking about this, and he loves Orange Cassidy, and I get that. But Orange Cassidy is not good every single week.
No.
He's one of those guys, just like, I mentioned this, I said he's a character. He's not a wrestler, which is a problem in itself, but if you're a character, you cannot be on TV every week, because me seeing him do the stupid the shin kicks, like the and then him doing the same. I mean, I can literally name his moveset. It's the spinning DDT, the Stone Cold, the Stunner Millionaire, the little leg kicks, the kip
and
up,
the suicide dive.
And the suicide dive. Every match he does the same stuff.
It's the same problem that WWE's having with The Fiend. He's on TV. He's just on TV way too much.
Yes.
It's a special character.
I agree. I am completely on board with that concept. If you are a character, not a wrestler, you need to get off TV every week. Again, I'm not saying you can't cut a promo. I'm not saying that. I mean,
no, the debate or whatever it was actually pretty good.
Yes, I thought that was funny. Again, I'm okay with him doing comedy segments, but I have a huge problem when he's wrestling week to week. I thought his match with Brody Lee was very good. I thought his match with Jericho, the first one, I did not like the second one, and I did not like the third one, but the first one I thought was really good. So he's getting better in the ring. I don't think he should be MJF next week, but yeah, that's how I feel about it. I'm not a huge Cassidy fan. I would have preferred if Jungle Boy would have been the one to go over, but that's just me. So, moving on. Frankie Kazarian versus Chris Jericho. Second week in a row, Chris Jericho has actually looked like Chris Jericho. He started to lose it there in the Cassidy series.
No, I disagree a little bit.
Really? Okay, let me hear it.
Chris Jericho, what is he? He's like 54 or something like
50.
That? Yeah, he looks it in the ring. He gets very tired very quickly, and you can and you notice it.
I understand that. Yeah, I notice it in his matches where he hits the ropes very soft.
Yeah.
In spots, which is not good. But I thought this match was well crafted for what it was. Kazarian is phenomenal.
Oh, I definitely agree. It was a good match. It's just that Jericho shouldn't really be on weekly TV that much.
Yeah.
Wrestling anyway. He can be the like the leader of the group or whatever. But
Yeah, be a manager.
wrestling week to week just isn't Chris Jericho anymore.
I agree.
He's just too old for it.
I agree. I agree with you. I'm not one for the multiple times that he's on TV wrestling again in matches that honestly don't mean anything.
Exactly.
That I'm not like, okay, we're boosting Chris Jericho's record for what? Like, I just don't understand. I get he's trying to put people over, which is fine, but like then they should have given Kazarian the win. But overall, not a bad match. I heard a complaint about this online. Okay, so in this match, and I'll paint the picture for the people who weren't watching AEW this week. MJF comes out while Kazarian has Jericho in what was a Boston Crab, but I assume was supposed to mock the walls of Jericho.
Right.
So he puts, he puts him in the walls. Everyone's screaming around ringside, and then MJF runs out to the ring with a white towel, looking like he's going to do the same thing he did to Cody Rhodes when he helped Jericho.
Right.
I was fine. Personally, I was fine with this, but I heard online everyone was like, "Oh, they're rushing the storyline," and now they're gonna. I guess they're doing a segment next week where they're describing, they're talking about if the inner circle is gonna break up, and I'm like, yes, because everyone complained that MJF's now a lackey, and he was. Last week was the worst MJF episode I've ever seen. He came out on TV as like just a member of the inner circle. He didn't look special at all. This episode reminded me of who MJF was. And yes,
I don't like how they did it though. Like yeah, I get it. It's the same thing that they did with Cody, but like they should have mixed it up a little bit.
Yeah, well, my thing is I wish it would have been like,
or at least go through with it. Don't try and like make it like a whole inner circle thing. At least go through with it and actually throw the towel in.
Yes,
start something.
I'll give you that. I agree with that because they should have just had him throw the towel in. Jericho gets up, but he understands. But then Sammy's the one who goes nuts, which is what happened. Sammy Guevara was the one who pushed him. And I'm fine with an MJF Sammy Guevara match, honestly. I think that's a good pillar match to have. But I do think what should come of this is Jericho stepping away and MJF taking over the inner circle. I think that's
right
where this has to go. Give MJF his own horseman group. Let it be him, Wardlow, Hager, and give him, Santana and Ortiz.
Santana
and
Ortiz.
then let Guevara go be a rebel against that concept and be like, no. Like, what should happen next week is they pretend like they make up. The rest of the inner circle walks out, and then MJF injures Jericho. Gives Jericho some time to leave, makes everyone kind of miss him so that it'll be a bigger draw when he comes back. And then Guevara could be I want to get revenge on MJF.
Right, because Guevara is a good wrestler. He's not necessarily he's not an inner circle character. That's just not really who he is.
Yeah, exactly, and I agree with that. So here we get to the two worst segments of the night. The Young Bucks interview. Could you remind me of what the tag team that for some reason was talking to them?
Oh, I texted it to you. Let me go back and find out. It was something really stupid. I don't quite remember what it was, though. This segment was really just stupid, though. Like, I don't even understand why they tried to do this. They were the Acclaims, I think.
The Acclaim, yeah, I don't even know what that means. One of the guys was rapping, and he had a junkyard dog chain around his neck. Like, not even like a iced chain. Like, it was just chainmail, which was just odd.
Yeah.
I was not a fan of this segment at all. And then TH2 runs in, and they start beating him up. And then Christopher Daniels comes out with a chair, and Kazarian, and then fends them off. And I was like...
And then I had a stroke because I don't understand what's happening.
Yeah, well, it seemed like what they were somewhat trying to set. Obviously, they've been setting up TH2 versus the Young Bucks for the Young Bucks to beat them, which is fine, and I don't care.
Right.
I don't like TH2. I like Angelico. I've liked him in Lucha Underground. He looks he's done the same thing since he was in Lucha Underground. I hate this disco. It reminds me of Alex Wright from WCW, the Wunderwall. Like it's this like disco German tech music they come out to. I hate it. I hate the whole look. I hate the bright green. It's like baby doo-doo green. I hate the whole look. But Regardless, the Young Bucks are going to win, and that'll be fine, but whatever. I don't like
Right.
whatever this other group is they brought out. I don't know if they're an independent guy. I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't seen them on AEW before.
Yeah, I don't know. Then, we get to the very in-depth women's division of AEW. And we get...
I'm sorry. I say this with like respect, obviously, for every person that does professional wrestling. The AEW women's division is just awful. It's literally terrible.
So bad.
So bad.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. We forgot. Because I actually texted you about this. I actually didn't write it down because it was so bad. Hikaru Shida's interview.
That was after the match, wasn't it?
Maybe. Maybe I did actually write that down. No, I didn't.
It was after the women's match.
So we got Brit Baker, the best woman in their division by far, which isn't high praise, but it's a fact.
Yeah.
She's consistently good in the ring, good on the mic, interesting, funny, and I actually like Reba as her like assistant. I think that's hilarious. So why she's not the women's champion, it's still a mystery to me, but we'll move on from that. What was her name? Legit Killer Kelly or something? Oh no, Killer Kelly's a different wrestler.
Layla Hirsch.
Layla Hirsch. I actually wrote down Killer Kelly because she is a direct... Killer Kelly is a woman in Impact, which I'm wrong. She's a very good women's wrestler in Impact. You are. Layla Hirsch is 4 feet tall.
She's 4'11", but yeah.
No, she's not. No,
yes,
she's not.
Is.
There's no shot.
Oh, no, sorry. They said she's 4'11". I don't know if she's actually 4'11".
Lucas, I looked in the ring, and she was shorter than the top rope.
Britt Baker was literally 1.5 feet taller than her.
I mean, she made Britt Baker look like the Great Khali. And Britt is trying so hard. Britt is really trying in this match.
The thing is, though, she's good in the ring.
Britt? Oh, what, Hirsch?
Yeah.
Yes, well, she's good at looking like a legit fighter. The problem is she doesn't know how to sell, because Britt gave her this beautiful super kick, and then, like, Layla just kind of, like, stood there.
I actually wrote that down. That was the worst super kick I've ever seen.
Because Britt kind of was like, I don't want to break your jaw, so she kind of went a little bit soft. But then Layla didn't even, like, do anything, so she just stood there. That was bad. Yeah, that was just...
Also, like, I don't understand what the point of this match was. Like, there was literally 0 point in having this match.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Reba taking the guardrail to the face after Kelly, I think, did a suicide dive.
Yeah, with the suicide dive, yeah.
Oh, God, I thought she was hurt. Yeah, that was rough.
That was pretty bad.
I can tell you what this match was for, though. It was for Thunder Rosa to come out.
Which didn't happen.
Yes, she did.
Did it?
Thunder Rosa came out after the match.
I left midway through. I had to go do something.
Yeah, so what happens after this match, Thunder Rosa comes out. Again, the other best woman that is not signed to AEW, but is in that alliance, this partnership that they've done with the NWA, which I hope increases over time.
Yeah.
Because Thunder Rosa, outside the WWE, is the best woman wrestler outside WWE. But,
I would agree.
I mean, in the ring, she looks legit. She's in good shape. Her matches are... I mean, dude, you saw the Hikaru Shida match. It was the best match in AEW's women's history.
Oh, absolutely. Not even close.
It was like her, and then the 2 matches she had with Serena Deeb. Like, she's been in the 3 top matches that women's division has had.
100%.
So how they haven't been pushing, how that this is their underneath women's feud of their 2 best wrestlers.
Right.
But then their women's championship is currently being defended by Hikaru Shida and whatever in the hell. What is this creature that she's fighting? I'm sorry.
AEW's female version of the Fiend.
Yes.
Pretty sure she's called Abaddon.
Abaddon, yes. Can you please explain the backstage segment?
I'm surprised they didn't go all the way and call her Abigail and blatantly rip it off even further.
Oh yeah, you might as well. Can you please explain this backstage segment that happens next? Because I
don't know why. Like it was 2 steps above someone saying, "Hey, your shoe's untied." Like It was they were cutting a promo, and then some random dude off camera dropped like a pipe or something onto the ground. She fake jumped, and it looked terrible. She just ended the interview.
She
Oh
goes,
my
no.
god.
She doesn't end the interview. She goes, can we restart? And Alex Marvez is like, no, we're on live television. And she goes, and she looks at the camera and goes, oh, okay. And walks off. And Marvez is like, what? Yeah, that was not good. That was not good.
That was pretty bad, actually.
So now we get to leave Badland and we get to go to the good stuff. Cody Rhodes and Darby Allin versus Willie Hobbs
Versus Taz's Goons.
versus Hobbs and Starks, who are two stars that'll be in this company for the next 10 or so years. And I love both. I love Starks. I love Starks in NWA when he was, I think he was television champion for the NWA. Fantastic wrestler.
Versus Brian Cage's Goon Squad.
Yeah, exactly. So you got. By the way, just not for nothing. Does Brian Cage ever wear a shirt? Is he like this, or do they? Like,
No. He does not.
Yeah,
it
Tony
just
Khan
not.
is just like, Brian, I'm gonna need you to stop wearing a shirt. Like, you can wear dress pants and dress shoes.
Tony Khan steals his shirts when he enters the
100%.
building.
Oh yeah, he enters the building, and Tony Khan's like, okay, you have to walk around here with your shirt on. You can wear dress pants and dress shoes, but you still have to without a shirt.
Right,
Brian's
of course.
Like, okay. All four of these guys are great match. Obvious baby faces and heels, but then what happens at the end? Team Taz beats up on who won the match? Cody, right? Cody and Darby.
Yeah, Darby pinned at the end.
Yeah, right. So Darby wins, gets his win. Team Taz. Well, okay, wait. First,
Arn Anderson.
Arn Anderson. Every time Arn Anderson gets in the ring, I get scared.
I was actually really nervous because, obviously, sad turn here, but Pat Patterson died that day before AEW.
Right.
And now we have Arn Anderson, who's just as old as Pat Patterson, getting in the ring against two people who are quite young and much stronger than Arn Anderson.
And much greener, because they could, like, again, if I was scared that they were going to have Hobbs do something to him or Starks, thank God they just, like, punched him, I think, right?
Yeah,
like,
something
submitted
like
him or something, which was fine. Which was good, because I don't want Arn Anderson taking a bump.
No.
No. And then Dustin Rhodes comes out, and then Brian Cage comes out, and they're all beating up the guys in the ring, and then all of a sudden, winter comes. Sting.
Sting's here.
I saw a report a little while ago that Sting was going to show up at All Out, and he did it. And when he came out, I was like, who is this? And I had no idea. I didn't know it was Sting. I see Sting. And I actually before was like, I don't want Sting in AEW. I don't want them using him. I don't think that he's going to be good for the company. I don't like that he's going to be a part-timer. That might have been the most perfect way to introduce him.
Absolutely. Didn't he sign like a huge contract?
He has a multi-year deal now with AEW, which I assume part of that deal is like he'll probably do like a couple matches and then be a coach, which is a good thing.
Right, you would think.
They put other guys over, and I understand that, but the entrance with the fake snow was
perfect.
Epic. Having him walk out slowly and methodically, and the crowd, you could hear these 1,000 people going nuts. And the thing is,
until he gets to the ring, you have no idea who he's going to beat up.
Right, because for all you know, he could. When he got in Darby's face, I was like, oh, this is going to happen. And he took out the baseball bat, and it was just perfect. He looked great. He looks good. Like, he looked good. He didn't look out of shape. He looked like the Sting that everyone remembers. And I'm so happy they did it this way. It's because I thought they were going to do the generic. He hits it with a baseball bat. He does the stinger, and then like, okay, great, awesome. But they didn't have to. You know why? Because he's Sting. They should be scared. He has a baseball bat.
Right. You don't know what he's going to do with the baseball bat.
Yes.
Dang.
How he goes up. First, I loved him and Arn because back in WCW, it was Sting versus the Four Horsemen, which Arn Anderson was a part of, and they're staring at each other. And Arn asks him why. Like, why'd you help me, of all people?
Right.
And it looks like Sting is trying to make amends. And then Sting goes to the next person who he's connected with, Dusty's son. And, him and Dusty have a history, and, he says to Cody, I got you. And then the most epic part of all of it is Darby. It's like Sting looking in the mirror.
Absolutely.
And he looks in the mirror, and this one, though, he got a little bit close. Like, it looked like he was going to fight him there, and Darby's not backing down, and I could totally see this as the next TNT Championship match. If Darby gets to go over on Sting, I'm all for it. I love it.
They're going to ruin it,
fantastic.
though. They're going to have him talk next week.
They are having him talk next week, but I'm actually okay with that because I think it's good that they're going to have him say something, like as in like what are my intentions, because that's the question, is what are Sting's
But he doesn't need to, though. It's Sting. He doesn't need to talk. And I don't remember him talking really at all during the Rollins feud.
He did cut a few promos. I remember that, but that was a little more obvious of what he was doing there. I want him to stake his claim because honestly, and this is possible, he could be going for they could have him lose to Kenny. They could have him fight Cody because obviously, Cody's coach is Arn Anderson, which is a feud in itself, or you could go after Darby. So there's a lot of options that he could go after. So I'm interested to see what they use with him. Yeah, you're right. He is cutting probably a pre-taped promo, I could assume.
Yeah, I would imagine.
On
next
Wednesday.
week on Dynamite.
Yeah, next week on Dynamite. Great debut. I mean, that felt like a moment. It felt like a moment in time that I was feeling.
Absolutely.
So that was cool. Okay, so main event: Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley. The only thing I wrote here: thank God there were no broom girls. I was so happy that they didn't do the broom girls again because I think it's so stupid. But Kenny Omega came out. He looked great. The entrance was good. He felt like Kenny Omega again.
Absolutely. It looked like old Kenny with the entrance.
Yes. Mox
too
was fine. I'm not a big Moxley guy. I don't hate Moxley. I'm a little bit in the middle.
He looked a lot more in shape than he has in the past couple of months.
Omega or
Moxley.
He did look much. Yes, he looked like he had prepared for the match a little bit more. He still looks a little bit sloppy, but I'm fine with that. The match started with a little bit of technical wrestling, which I was not expecting.
No, it was good though. Moxley took all the chops from Kenny.
Right, and then they get dumped to the outside. So it was obvious they were structuring this like a New Japan match with the referee coming to the outside of the ring and telling him to get in the ring. I am fine with this. Now, normally I'm not. Normally I'm one of those people who's very cynical and saying, oh, they should just get counted out. But if you're going to do it, this is how you do it. Why would a referee in your biggest match, honestly, of the year, I think it's the biggest match, other than maybe like Jericho Moxley at Revolution, it's the biggest match of your year. It's definitely the biggest match that you've had on Dynamite. And why would the referee have a double count out?
Right, that just wouldn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. So it's logical for the referee now to come to the outside of the ring and tell him, hey, get inside. And, Moxley's beating up on Kenny, and Kenny's beating up on Moxley, and it felt like a fight. They were slugging it out on the outside of the ring, which was good.
Right, and that's what Moxley's good at doing, is doing those, fight-looking matches, because that's...
Right.
Because he has not only, he has I don't know the word. He has the moveset to do that, but he also has the wrestling IQ to be able to do that as well.
Right, I agree. And this very much reminded me of his match versus Tomohiro Ishii in last year's G1 Climax, where they went all along the stage, which was good, though, because it made sense because Moxley was the one keeping it to the outside of the ring, not Omega.
Right.
Omega at no point was, okay with it. He kept running and then, hitting and running, and then finally they get back in the ring. And they continue fighting. Kenny takes a whole... So, first he gets on the top rope, and he jumps himself to the outside of the ring, which is bad. That was probably the one botch I saw in the whole match, and that was Moxley's fault, because Moxley didn't come soon enough. Hits him. Moxley goes to the outside of the ring and tries to DDT him through a heater, and just spikes him on his head.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
And Omega's there, and he's like, oh... And you can tell Moxley's feels kind of bad, so he gives him a second. And he peels off the referees, throws Omega in the ring. A couple kickouts in between, and then we get the big angle of the night. Don Callis.
I didn't like this. I didn't like this really.
Really? Okay, so I'll tell him what it is, and then we can discuss it. Don Callis, who is Kenny Omega's father figure, it seems like. Even though Kenny Omega has a dad, but Kenny Omega's father figure comes out. He's begging the referee, please stop the match. He grabs the microphone. He's trying to tell the referee to stop. And at some point, this was actually pretty smooth. He threw Kenny Omega the mic. Moxley turns around and gets popped in the head with the mic. Now, Moxley must have told Kenny Omega, hit me as humanly hard as you can with that microphone to bust me open, because I don't have time to blade in between.
He could have bladed. There was time.
Oh, I don't know, but either way, that was not a blade. A blade would be straight across the forehead.
Yeah, true, yeah.
Kenny just popped him hard. Like, you could tell, you heard the little thump, and then it was obvious, Moxley went down. I'm sure you maybe open it up a little bit more, but it was like a puncture rather than a physical cut.
Right.
Yeah. Got juice, looked great. The blood looked fantastic. Kenny then hits him with by far the 3 hardest V triggers I've seen.
Yeah, the third one looked like he literally just kneed him straight in the head.
It got progressed. He hits him and boom. And they've been doing this all match. So it's not like he hadn't been hitting him hard, but these 3 in specific were just bam, bam. And then you're right, where he runs along the ropes, right? On the side. Yeah. And he just hits him right in the jaw and he drops.
The camera work was perfect on the third one because it looked like he clocked him in the head with the knee.
Hard. I also love the reference to Kazuchika Okada. He did the Rainmaker thing. He did the pose and then hit it with the V-trigger, the Rainmaker V-trigger combo.
Yeah.
One Winged Angel, 1, 2, 3. Kenny Omega is now your AEW champion. But wait, it's not over. And the commentators, I will admit, played this off to perfection. They're screaming, "You're no good, blah, 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 and this is stupid, and how could he do this?"
Of course.
And Callis comes in the ring, raises his hand, and tells Omega, "We gotta go."
Right.
And they're running out of the arena, and Tony Khan gets up, and he's screaming. He's like, "What are you doing?" And Don Callis says he's the champion. Doesn't matter. They keep running. Wrestlers are booing, trying to get in Omega's way. And Callis says, get in the car, get in the car. So they get in this limousine, and I think it was Alex Marvez who was the interviewer. I couldn't see because it was dark.
I think it was. I'm pretty sure they said Marvez.
It was okay.
The commentator.
So
I think so.
Marvez, yes. Marvez says, what are you gonna do now? And he says, you'll find out Tuesday night. And Marvez goes, you're an idiot. It's Wednesday night is Dynamite. And Don Callis looks at Marvez and goes, I didn't say on Dynamite, on Impact Wrestling, on Access TV. Gets in the car.
I did like that part. That part was interesting.
And spins away. Now, what was your problem with this? Because I'm going to debate you on this.
I just I know that Kenny is becoming a heel, and I understand that he has to do something to make him look like a heel. But I feel like this match should have been clean. I feel like of all the matches, this one needed to be a clean finish.
I think it's all about how they're going to continue this. Because if you just do it and you now try and make Kenny Omega a legit champion, yes, then he's paper. Because he won it cheating. However, now that he's going to Impact Wrestling, and there are 2 guys there named Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson.
That's true. They could be trying to put it back together.
If you could get somewhat of a Bullet Club together, that is huge. And if you could get something together now where Kenny Omega looks... Again, if you could make him look like a paper champion, that's okay. Paper champions are okay. Cheating is okay. I'm okay with that. Because it does... Again, it makes Kenny Omega look like the top heel in the company, which now that Jericho is doing whatever Jericho's doing, he's not...
He pretty much is, yeah.
He's not... Yeah, Omega's pretty much has to be your top heel because MJF is doing his own thing and everyone else is doing theirs. So you need a top heel. And now you have a heel champion, which is something I've wanted from AEW since... Moxley won the belt. I like having a heel champion because now we could build to something. I think that person's going to be Hangman Adam Page. But I love this.
I think it'll be MJF.
Could be MJF too, whatever. But still, I am very excited to see where this goes. Obviously, Impact Wrestling and AEW partnering. And I think everyone's forgetting that this has kind of become a trio alliance. You got AEW. NWA, because they've had NWA talent on their product for a couple weeks now. You have Ricky Starks, who came from the NWA. You have Eddie Kingston, who came from the NWA. Thunder Rosa still signed there. You had, I believe, 3 NWA Women's Championship matches on Dynamite itself or on pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that this is a good way to make sure that all the companies get what they need. Because, again, what is Impact Wrestling missing right now? A star. They really are.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're missing
100%.
a star right now, and they're missing viewership. This could help them. What is the NWA
Absolutely.
missing? Talent.
I don't watch NWA. I don't know.
What were you saying, sorry, about Impact?
I wasn't saying anything about Impact.
Oh, well, what I'm saying is the NWA needs a star other than Nick Aldis, because Nick Aldis is their NWA World Champion right now, so they need somebody other than him on that to be able to push. And AEW needs women at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. I hate to say it, but their women's division's terrible. And having a Thunder Rosa, Allison Kay, Serena Deeb, Taya Valkyrie, Jordan Grace, Deonna Purrazzo, and Sue Young, that's a division.
100%.
That's a division that you could say that you could hang your hat on. And I think that they should be very proud of themselves. And now, obviously, I mean, I sent you this morning. Davey Boy Smith Jr., the son of the British Bulldog, currently just left MLW because in his Opera Cup match against Loki knocked him out. Actually knocked him out by accident during the match. And then they went like 5 minutes more, which was not good for either gentleman. So he's done. I think he thinks it's not a safe working environment. So we'll see where he goes. I could see him going to any of those 3 companies. I more see the NWA, but I could see him going to any of these 3 companies. And this is the start of something that could be very troublesome for the WWE.
Especially considering WWE is already, in some trouble.
Right. Financially, yes, you're correct. And I think that is the biggest thing about WWE right now that they're not realizing. Their biggest competitor used to be WCW. And WCW was, just like them, the greatest people from what were the territories.
Yeah.
That didn't go to WWE. That is an enormous problem because now you have an NWA, Impact Wrestling, and AEW partnership. AAA and AEW are, I don't know if they're in a partnership still, but, like, again, the Lucha Brothers still compete in AAA. Kenny Omega is still El Mega Campeonato. He's facing Laredo Kid at AAA Mania. I think that's what it's called. I could be wrong about that. But he's facing Laredo Kid in the main event. So it seems like there's a partnership there if they're having one of their executive vice presidents.
Right.
Ring of Honor, I don't know how they feel right now about, the Young Bucks and everything, but if they could get past it, I mean, that'll be huge for them. And then you have MLW, who obviously with Davey Boy departing, Tillman departing, I don't really see them doing a lot of business, but again, I don't know. Again, NWA and MLW and AAA are very closely linked because of Conan.
Right.
So it's possible that we could see MLW come into the mix, and then obviously the biggest player in the game with the most stars is New Japan Pro Wrestling. I mean, that's really going to be the determiner, and I hope that that Tony Khan isn't burning that bridge with New Japan quite yet. With this, that's what kind of scared me about what he said about saying no to Moxley competing, because that is kind of a warning shot of like, no, he's my star.
I imagine New Japan are going to stay mostly independent, like they always pretty much have.
Well, again, yeah, you're right. They've done partnerships in the past. Like they were partners with Ring of Honor. They still do the Supercard of Honor.
I mean, they lend out talent, but they also expect talent back in return.
Of course, yes, and I think that was their thing. That's why they were able to gain Cody, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, stuff like that, They were able to
Right.
gain those types of guys because they were like, well, dude, just lend us your talent. Like, again, it was a lending tree. And that's what this has to turn into. If there could be a lending tree between all of these different smaller wrestling organizations, Vince is in really big trouble.
100%.
Because there are people who don't. Again, AEW gets about, I'll say, 800,000 viewers a week. Impact
Right.
gets about 130. So I'll say that's probably about 50,000 viewers in the range of Impact Wrestling who probably don't watch AEW.
Right.
They choose not to because they liked Impact Wrestling better, which is fine. I'm just saying, though, like, I don't think that there's a lot of overlap. There now will be a boost in ratings for AEW. There will be a boost in ratings for all these other companies because now you're sharing this bigger independent fan base. And now you're getting to show that there are better talent out there than the WWE. The WWE's not doing a good job about building stars.
No, WWE, that's the problem that they've had since, guys like Rock and Cena have gotten old and left.
And they tried it with NXT, and NXT has failed. And I'm sorry. NXT is the most boring show I watch on a weekly basis.
Yeah, NXT failed because they got rid of all the stars.
Right.
And they haven't built new ones.
Agreed. The problem is like you go, okay, we're gonna give Matt Riddle to the main roster. Okay, cool, that makes sense. Okay, now we're gonna give Keith Lee. Oh, okay. Well, then Karrion Kross gets hurt. Okay, so then now you have Adam Cole, who's already been all your champions, Gargano, who is not a very good heel, Damian Priest, who's your star right now, who's not holding a championship. You have a jobber holding the North American Championship.
Don't forget Ciampa and Balor.
Ciampa, who is on his last legs. His neck is probably about to snap any day.
Right.
And Finn Balor has a dislocated jaw.
And Finn Balor, who's leaving at the end of his contract.
Oh, I think he's done. I really do.
I don't think there's anything that they can do to keep him on at this point.
Yes. You're right. There's nothing for him there that he could work to. And I feel like that's where Balor has unfinished business in New Japan.
100%, and especially if they're going to go the Bullet Club route with Omega.
Yeah. Yes. And I think he misses those guys.
Well, 100%, it's better competition.
Right. I think that Balor right now is like, listen, I appreciate you gave me the NXT championship, but you literally gave me it because a guy got injured. And you need somebody to rely on, and it couldn't be Adam Cole.
Exactly.
And I love Adam Cole, and I think Adam Cole's probably the best wrestler in the world today. There's a few guys you could put in that category, but for a guy who's in his prime and can literally work with a broomstick, Pat McAfee.
Yeah. Hey, Pat McAfee was not as bad as we all thought he was.
No, he wasn't, but Adam Cole carried that match.
Oh, 100%.
Adam Cole said,
100%.
You're going to do fun, flippy stuff. You know why? Because you're an athlete. And I'm not very athletic, but guess what? I know how to work a match. So you're going to listen to everything I say. And Pat McAfee was like, okay, Adam.
Absolutely, because Pat McAfee is an NFL or former NFL punter.
Right.
It's not like he has a wrestling background.
Right. So I'm glad that but I think Adam Cole's one of the best wrestlers in the world, but they couldn't give it to him. So they gave it to plan like 85, which was Finn Balor.
Right.
And I think that annoys Finn Balor more because he's like, dude, like, and now who faces Finn Balor?
Yeah, I mean, there's really no one.
Timothy Thatcher? I like Timothy Thatcher, but he just tapped out to Kushida on TV.
Right, and like it's just not real. I mean, well, I shouldn't say that because there's currently a jobber holding the North American Championship, but it's not realistic to have Timothy Thatcher as NXT champion.
Right, it's not good for business. I love Finn Balor, but you also got to put it again. If you want what NXT is, and that's stars, on a roster that you could just say, hey, go wrestle and have a good match. You need to put Finn Balor with someone other than Adam Cole. And I think, again, yes, you could do Finn Balor versus Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano and Damian Priest.
And it'll be great, but I don't care anymore.
Right, because you really think Tommaso Ciampa's going to win it again?
Well, I don't understand why WWE doesn't take all the people on their main rosters that they don't use and just put them back on NXT.
Actually, that's a great segue because I was just about to talk about this. Aleister Black requested to be sent back to NXT. And they said
I don't blame him. I can't blame him.
and they said no. Why? What? Like, this is
because Vince is still in charge, and Vince never liked NXT.
yeah. Well, it
He
makes
never
him
like
angry.
he never liked the idea of it.
Right. It makes him angry that every time he tries to move someone up, they don't work out.
Right, because
That
you gotta
hurts him.
remember it's a different brand. It's not like it's a different niche than the main roster is.
Right. And the other thing is too is Triple H. Okay, you could tell when these guys go from from NXT to the main roster, their character changes.
Absolutely.
I mean, Triple H built Aleister Black up as this serious, crazy lunatic who could just kill you, who's a legit fighter, who
And
you
now he looks
shouldn't
like a
mess with.
pirate with his stupid eye patch.
Come on, like what is like that's my issue is you're taking guys and they're not working out not because of them but because it was good booking who got them to the spot with their good wrestling.
Right.
That's the problem. Again, I agree with you. Why isn't Shinsuke on NXT? Why isn't Cesaro on NXT? There's no reason. You're not doing anything with them.
100%.
That's the issue. And again, because Vince then goes, oh, you know, that Matt Riddle guy. And I'm sure, again, Matt Riddle, if he was built the right way, is the new Kerry Von Erich. He is the new heartthrob of the WWE. He's a good-looking guy. He's in good shape. He's funny. He's talented. He's good on the mic. He's a good draw. Yeah, guess what? You've already messed him up.
Oh, 100%. They made him the resident stoner of WWE.
It's so annoying. And he's funny every week, but you guys aren't doing anything with him.
But yeah, but that's all he is he's just that funny guy on Raw who makes fun of Sheamus.
Right. Raw is their worst brand right now. SmackDown I could watch sometimes.
SmackDown's tolerable because
Roman.
they actually finally are doing something with Roman Reigns.
Roman is carrying that brand because Roman's just so good right now.
Right.
I just can't believe that.
This is the problem that WWE had. Roman's over right now, and they're not shoving it down our throats, which is perfect.
They're having him look jacked. They're having him sit there and tell Jey Uso that he's a disappointment to the family.
Yeah, it's fun. It's good to watch.
Yes, it's good TV going back to what we had talked about before about Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy is special because he's funny when he doesn't show up on TV every week. Roman Reigns is special because when he wrestles, he tears it down.
Absolutely, that match with McIntyre was very good.
It was beautifully done. His matches with Jey Uso were phenomenal. And I'm sure this match he has with Kevin Owens will be great as well.
Kevin Owens is great.
All of them are great. SmackDown is a great brand right now. And they have honestly, I'll admit this, Sami Zayn has grown on me as a heel as time has gone on.
Because he finally started to grow into it instead of, running around with a fake Intercontinental title that he got from the merchandise table.
Yes, I agree, and I think that he actually looks. Again, that ladder match I think gave him a big boost, and ever since then he just knows how to work as an old school heel, and I like it, and I really am enjoying Sami Zayn right now. Yeah, the Raw is really bad. Raw is just not good. It's just
not.
It just feels blech. Like I'm watching it.
Also, I don't understand why they suspended Braun. I mean, I understand why it's a storyline, but it's really stupid.
Well, Lucas, you see, you can't headbutt a office person, but you could be
but you can because you're Braun Strowman. That's what he does.
Here's my point: you can't headbutt a commissioner, but you can be a psychopath who continuously abuses people on the main roster, who clearly has psychopathic needs, but they play his segments anyway. You could be another psychopathic 6'4" man named Randy Keith Orton who decides to attack not just normal superstars or commissioners. He decides to attack old men. But no, that's okay. That's fine.
And when we say attack, what we really mean is punt people in the head.
Yeah, and try and break their necks. But that's okay. That's okay to put on live television. No suspension. No suspension for attacking old men.
Of course not.
So that's my problem. Is if you want to say you can't headbutt a commissioner, okay. Then why'd you let you gave him a WWE Championship opportunity when he punted old men.
Yeah. He kicked Ric Flair in the head, which, by the way, it's really sad that they're still trying to use Ric Flair.
Yeah.
He punted Ric Flair in the head and got a championship opportunity for it.
Yeah.
And then lost the championship and then went right back to punting Ric Flair in the head.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just.
Because if it didn't work well the first time, we all know it's gonna work even better the second time.
Yeah. Oh, dear God. Dear God. But going back to the good stuff, AEW. Great show last night. I enjoyed it. The women's stuff sucked. But with this Impact partnership, I'm hoping that brighter days are on the horizon. I'm hoping that this will create a bond between all of these different wrestling organizations. And again, I hope New Japan will come into play in this whole scenario. I don't think that they'll do, I don't think, if I'm being honest with you, I don't think that they're going to send any of their stars. But, I'd
No, because I mean,
appreciate,
New Japan has to protect itself too,
of course. But I'd appreciate if they could send guys like Fale,
or even
Tama.
Gallows and Anderson.
Right. Tama. Yeah, you're right. The Bullet Club guys, Kenta, who's living in America, Jeff Cobb, Ospreay.
Yeah.
Again, guys who could work with an American audience. I know they're not going to send Okada anytime soon. I know.
No,
They're not sending Tanahashi.
The Japanese government's not letting Okada leave.
No, no, he's not allowed. Yeah, no, they have I actually heard something the other day that Okada right now is making as much money as the top 5 people in WWE.
Right, yeah.
The dude's a millionaire and is a celebrity there. Yeah, you can't let him go. They're just not going to let him go. Same thing with Tanahashi, same thing with Naito, maybe Jay White, and maybe Kota Ibushi, but even then, I think that's a little bit of a stretch. But,
yeah.
But yeah, just again, let the guys who are already living in America compete in AEW.
Right.
Tom Lawler, let him come to AEW. Why not? Who cares? Let it happen.
Exactly. AEW has 85 matches a week on Dark, so you might as well fill some of them with non-AEW guys.
Right. Let it happen. And again, give me a reason to want to watch Dynamite more when there's new faces.
Right, or even Dark, which a lot of people don't watch.
Yeah, I don't even watch AEW Dark. I mean, I'll watch it sometimes if they give me an Eddie Kingston, Brian Pillman, I think was the last one I watched.
Right, like when they announce something that's cool, but I don't want to watch 2 jobbers face each other. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. It's a developmental brand, which is fine, and that's cool. But guess what?
Which is fine because they're actually doing it right.
Right.
They're having 10 matches a night with people that no one cares about, but that's good so people can start to know who these guys are.
And that's called developmental because you're
right.
developing people.
Right, instead of regurgitating the top stars over and over again.
And you're letting people grow so that when they go on TV and you tell me that they have a 4-1 record because of AEW Dark, I believe you.
Exactly.
And I don't sit here and go, who's this jabroni and why is he facing Cody or Darby or whoever for the TNT Championship?
Exactly.
That's where Will Hobbs started. That's where Top Flight started. AEW Dark's becoming a place. And also, I think AEW Dark is a place where they're evaluating people, which is a good thing also, to see who can make it to Dynamite.
100%.
I think that's a big thing for them. And obviously, it's a overall booster, getting guys over records up so that they can make sure that, their guys like Brian Cage and Lance Archer still have good records and still stand strong.
Right, instead of having guys just sit there like WWE does.
Yes, and that's the problem. You can have, again, they haven't used Jungle Boy or the Jurassic Express in a while. But guess what? You could put them on Dark to make sure that they don't get rusty in the ring and put them against 2 new guys who will probably make them happy because they're like, oh, cool, 2 new guys that we have never faced before.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. So I'm excited for I'm not going to watch Impact Wrestling because I don't get Access TV. But you best believe I'll watch the 20-minute highlights that they post.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't watch Impact anyway because I don't really care about anything else in Impact except for this Kenny Omega thing, but
Yeah, I'll watch whatever segment they put out, whatever Mr. Callis decides. But yeah, I'm excited for it. But yeah, so that was our AEW review. We're about almost at the hour mark right now, so I will thank you guys for watching this BWO Back Talk podcast, and I hope you have a nice rest of your day.
And I will conclude this podcast by saying that Eddie Kingston sucks and I hate him.